Ready. Fire. Ready. Fire. Ready. Fire. Lock. Left face. Cruising arms.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome our members of James B. Crump Post 2423 VFW and our American Legion Post 458. We here at Indian Trail are proud and honored to work together with you now and in the future for joint Veterans Day festivities. Veterans Day is a day where we honor those who served our nation when called upon. These men and women never hesitated to serve this country for the cause of freedom and democracy. In times of hostility, they've even been called up and did not hesitate to serve and protect freedoms around the world for other nations. We as a community and as a nation are indebted to all those that have served, past, present, and future. We are also indebted to those families who watched as their loved ones rose up for the call of battle to serve this nation. I would not have the honor of standing here today if it wasn't for these men and women who put their lives on the line for our right and freedoms to elect our leaders and have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We should all take a moment and thank each one of them for their service and pray for their well-being. I want to thank them all for working with us in these unprecedented times of COVID to ensure that we honor them in the proper way. There are no words for the thanks we give. As a son and brother of those that have served this nation, I am proud to be a family member of one who served. I'm proud to stand here by our flag and honor that symbol which serves to represent our nation. I'm proud to stand when our national anthem is played. It's more than just a song and more than just a flag. It's a representative of those who have shed blood, both here and abroad, against enemies, foreign and domestic. So please join me today in thanking those who served our nation, and let us never forget the sacrifices that they have given so that we can stand here today. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless the United States, and may God have mercy on this entire world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Veterans Day ceremony here in Indian Trail. Today we come together to honor our veterans. Freedom isn't free, and due in large part to our veterans. So this day is very well deserved by our veterans and all those who served in the armed forces of the United States. Who's a veteran? A veteran is anybody who served in the armed forces of the United States. Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, National Guard, Reserves, and now, thanks to President Trump, we have a new entry into the group, Space Force. So I want to welcome all those guys and gals in the Space Force as a new entity into Veterans Day. As I said, I'm the commander of the American Legion right here in Indian Trail. We're located 2 blocks as the crow flies behind the post office on 74. So let me talk a little bit about the American Legion. Who are we? What do we do? The American Legion is the largest wartime veterans association in the country. We were founded in 1919 by the troops that were waiting to come home. They had a conference in Paris, and out of that came the American Legion. We're chartered by Congress. And so what was their purpose? Their purpose was to help the vets as they returned home. They wanted to make sure the vets had jobs, got an education. They wanted the vets to be very involved in the community as the communities grew. They wanted to push patriotism. And they also wanted to push Americanism, meaning they wanted to encourage immigrants to become full citizens with loyalty to the United States. And we still do this today. So who's eligible for the American Legion? It used to be anybody who served in the armed forces during conflict, and there were segregated dates for that. That really wasn't very popular with a lot of us. So about 5 months ago, we had passed by Congress and approved by President Trump. Since we've been on a war footing since 1945, now anybody who served in the United States military and has an honorable discharge is now eligible for the American Legion. So we encourage everybody to do that. One of the things we do as the American Legion, we spearhead a lot of legislation, and numbers count. When you go to Congress, they want to know how many people you have in your organization. So please, anybody out there, join the American Legion. As some of the legislation we've gotten passed over the years, everybody knows the GI Bill, and we keep that up to date as best we can. We've always spearheaded the force to improve the VA. Now, this past 4 years, President Trump has done a wonderful job. The VA is so much better than it was. Does it have some things that have to be done again to make it better? But we're off to a good start. Community involvement, depending on the size of the post, we get involved in helping, physically helping and financially helping when you have floods and hurricanes. But more than that, there are a lot of programs. The most popular, everybody would know, is the American Legion Baseball. Thousands of kids every year join and participate in the American Baseball Association. And what most people don't know is that 80 of those young men became Hall of Fame members in the National Baseball Association in Cooperstown. So if you look further, we have scholarships and programs to encourage kids to become better citizens. I might add, we help, as an American Legion Post, we help both veterans families and non-veterans families. We've given out money recently to some needy people. We give money to the food banks. So you don't have to be a veteran to be helped by the American Legion, although that's our focus. You might be surprised who members of the Legion are. Some very famous. Dwight D. Eisenhower. He's or was a lifetime member of the American Legion. He led the fight to defeat the Axis in Europe. He became the 34th president of the United States. Militarily, he's still focused on the military. He really established and built up the B-52 force, which we really depend on right now. He established NASA. He established the FFA. He fought communism, and he put a lot of muscle in civil rights movement. He was the guy who sent troops down to Little Rock, Arkansas, to integrate the high school down there. So again, I'd like to restate that the American Legion here in Indian Trail, Post 452, we're always looking for members. We have a very nice canteen. We have a very nice bay area for activities, and we welcome everybody who's a vet. So, and finally, I'd like to thank the vets once again. This is your day. You deserve it. You did a great job to defend this country. And might I have a final wish here that God continues to bless this great country, the United States of America. Thank you.
Good day. It is truly an honor to join you today as the commander of the Indian Trail James B. Crump VFW Post 2423. I want to thank Mayor Alvarez, the town commissioners, and the Parks and Recreation Department for working around COVID-19 challenges and allowing us to recognize this day. The planning for this event started several months ago when I approached John Gray of the Indian Trail American Legion Post and the Mayor Alvarez, who is a real loyal friend of our VFW Post, about conducting this joint program. While not exactly the format that I anticipated, I am grateful for the support of the town and the American Legion for planning today's event. As we learned in the service, it is a team effort to achieve your objective. As combat veterans of foreign wars and members of a veterans organization whose primary mission is to serve and care for those who have served, we of the VFW understand that Veterans Day is a day of deep significance. I am proud to stand here to recognize and honor the millions of men and women who answered when their nation called. I am also grateful for the thousands of men and women in our military, once again taking up arms against the enemies of our way of life. To those of us who have worn or continue to wear the uniform of our great country, and to our family members who stand just as strong at home, there is no doubt that Veterans Day brings with it a meaningful significance to every American veteran. Veterans Day means much more than just a federal holiday to us. After serving our country, there is an everlasting bond that exists between the men and women who have shared the military experience. This bond is why we have veterans organizations like the VFW and the American Legion, where we can gather, tell war stories, and care for one another. I believe this social interaction is key to help prevent the terrible suicide rate among our veterans at about 20 a day. That's tragic. Since comradeship is so important, I encourage all local area veterans who have served in combat in a foreign land to join our VFW Post. We exist to support and care for any veteran or active duty member, but we also support our local community with youth scholarship programs, public servant recognition, scout support, and a very busy honor guard. As the commander, I am focused on veteran mental wellness and believe our great facilities where veterans can gather serves as an important role in our community where veterans can form these relationships and help one another. Now that you know a little bit about our VFW Post and how we got to this program today, it is my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Major General Retired Mike Kingsley. General Kingsley is a member of our VFW and the Air Force pilot that flew in the first hours of Desert Storm in his MH-53 Special Operations helicopter to knock out radar sites along the Iraq and Saudi border. He has served in multiple combat zones, commanded at multiple levels, and did an outstanding job for me about 25 years ago as a major in the Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition Office in the Pentagon. He has a long record of combat tours, mostly related to special operations, and multiple awards and decorations. He is a warrior, he is a good friend. I am proud to turn over the mic to General Kingsley. Thank you very much.
Greetings. It's truly an honor to join with you today because today is a special day. It is, in fact, a remarkable day as we meet and honor an extraordinary and select group of people. As veterans of foreign wars and as members of an organization whose primary mission is to serve and care for those who served, we understand that Veterans Day is a day of deep significance, of opportunity. It is a day we recognize and honor the millions of men and women who answered when the nation called. All of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who have selflessly gone whenever and wherever they were called. Originally created in recognition of the end of World War I, the first Veterans Day was observed on November 11th, 1921 at Arlington National Cemetery and was marked by the burial of the unknown soldier from World War I. More than 100 years later, we still gather on Veterans Day to reflect on those who have fought to preserve the freedoms every American enjoys. And the thousands of men and women in the military, once again, taking up arms against the enemies of our way of life. Veterans Day continues to be a day of reflection. It is a day when all Americans should take time to consider the legacy of freedom and liberty that has passed to us. It is a day to think about the awesome responsibility that is ours and what it takes to maintain this land of free, this home of the brave. It is a day to remember the generation of patriots who have bravely shouldered the burden of many. They serve because they know it is necessary for the greater good. Now, more than ever, it's important that we take time to thank the men and women who selflessly sacrifice to serve our armed forces. To those of us who have worn and continue to wear the uniform of our great country, and to our family members who stand just as strong at home, there is no doubt that Veterans Day brings with it a meaningful significance. I, for one, reflect on my friends who served alongside me in war, on the leaders who bravely guided me through the most difficult circumstances, and my spouse who took care of my children while I was gone for more than 200 days a year for 10 years, and on my son who is now serving and carrying on the torch of freedom. To every American veteran, Veterans Day means much more than just a federal holiday. It is on this day that when we honor the contributions and sacrifices of more than 19.5 million veterans and service members who have proudly served our country, and all those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the name of liberty and justice. Every generation of Americans undoubtedly owes a debt of gratitude to these brave patriots. And we must do everything we can to make sure the men and women who serve in today and tomorrow's military receive what they need to accomplish their mission of safeguarding Americans' interest. There is a common bond that exists between men and women who have shared the military experience. There existed a shared sense of duty and a common belief in a cause of higher than their own. Our nation's veterans chose to serve, and by doing so, assumed all the risks associated with maintaining freedom. There also existed a shared intensity of dedication to the idea of freedom and the ideals of democracy. There is an understanding and respect for each other because each realizes that they have contributed to the greater good, and there is an understanding and shared knowledge of the value of the deeds. They understand the true essence of America. Our country is like no other in history. Ours was a nation founded not on tribalism or classism, but one that provided rare and unique opportunity to disagree, to worship, and to express oneself without fear of reprisals, of incarceration or execution. Freedom and liberty are the birthright of every American, and we had to fight for it. Maintaining the strength of the American ideal requires courage and constant vigilance against those who envy what we often take for granted. It requires great love of the American way of life, Without the love, the dedication of spirit, and without the sacrifice of our veterans, tyrants and evil would prevail. Throughout our history and amongst veterans, there is but one truth and one absolute: America will stand. If I could make any demand today, I would demand my fellow citizens grant our keepers of peace and protectors of our freedom, our veterans, with the care and respect they so richly and rightfully deserve. Those of us who care to honor America's heroes gather because we are honoring our sons and daughters, our mothers and fathers, and our brothers and sisters who are serving on behalf of everyone in our country, just like the generations of American patriots did before them. For every single man and woman who has donned the U.S. military uniform by virtue of their service and sacrifice, today is their day to stand tall and be recognized by a grateful nation. Today and every day, we must take the opportunity to keep alive the memories, sacrifices, and accomplishments of our nation's veterans. And we must embrace every occasion to educate future generations, the public, and the elected officials on the accomplishments, importance, and the needs of our nation's veterans. I hope as we leave here today, each of us will be motivated and inspired by the deeds and accomplishments of the patriots past and present. I hope this motivation will help lead us into a brighter future. Armed with a renewed sense of patriotism and purpose, we must remain committed to a stronger nation and to our veterans. For it is our veterans who have sacrificed and paid the highest price for us all. God bless you, and God bless America.